I'm going to share my screen in a few so okay, so all right, share screen, and okay, I don't know if you guys can see my screen right now.
Yes.
Yes.
Everything okay? Wow. Someone wants to join, I'll be flipping around so that I see that I can accept anybody in, because I'm the admin and I'm the presenter. Okay, so today we are going to try to look at Bitcoin Lightning. Guys, if you have any question, just feel free to go. You can interrupt, then we see that I can push through. If it's a very short question, I can go ahead and answer it. So I'm going to try to follow this small simple setup, and we are going to try to build on Bitcoin Lightning. I don't know if you guys, all of you know what Bitcoin Lightning is. It is a scaling solution for Bitcoin, and what they mean by scaling solution is it's Bitcoin made easier, cheaper, and faster, because the normal chain is a little bit slow in a way that accepting the transactions and the confirmation times and the fees are very, very expensive. For example, yesterday, a few days back, I was trying to make a transaction and it spent 24 hours in the mempool. So it's something that is a little bit frustrating for applications and software that want to have instant payments. So it is why the Lightning Network exists, and I think it's a very good technology, and it's what we are going to try to do today. So we are using Lightning Network in Shukuru for instant payments. Those of you who do not know what Shukuru is, I don't know if I can open the Google Play link here. So Shukuru is this application that focuses mainly on payments, Bitcoin, Lightning, and stable coins. So currently we have Celo, and yeah, we try to pick the chain. So businesses, small businesses, users, people who want to save, they can use this application. So recently we tried to move to spin off a Lightning node, and I thought it was a very good experience, and I'm trying to I think it will be great to go through how we did it. Okay, all right, so step number 1. So if you want to develop on Lightning, you will have to spin up a Bitcoin node. It's not a Bitcoin node, it's called a Lightning node. So you'll have to spin off a Lightning node, and what that Lightning node is, it is a protocol that was developed by a company called, I think it's called Lightning Labs. So if you go this company, these are the guys that created Lightning, and they call it LND. So usually what you do, you go fork this repo and run this node with Bitcoin Core, so that you can spin off your Lightning node. And then we have a number of services. So we have LND. We have another one called Eclair that is developed by ASIC. I think ASIC is the wallet behind Phoenix. We have this Blockstream. We have Electrum. We have Lightly, and we have this one written in C++. Basically, all of these are services that they do the same thing. They do the same logic behind Lightning. And you find that the most used is LND, and I think LND is the easiest. But yeah, you can go try out C Lightning. I think this one is a little bit closed source by ASIC. I've never seen anyone use it, but it's also an option. So today we are going to go through LND, and I think it's what we are using, and I think their resources are a little bit better. So if you guys are following up, you can go to this link. It's docs.lightning.engineering, I think I can drop it in the chat if you want to go and see that. So they have a very good documentation. Initially it wasn't very nice, but I think they've polished it very well. So step number one, you need to run a lightning node. So one thing that you could do, you could run your lightning node on hardware. And when I say hardware, I mean you can run it on a Raspberry Pi, and maybe you run something called MyNode. I think it's called MyNode Bitcoin, and you buy that, you spin up your lightning node, you put it in your home, and yeah, you have your lightning node there. So one thing with this, the problem with this is you have to make sure that you manage your node, but you have to make sure that it doesn't go offline, because it's basically in your place and you are the ones that confirming the transactions, you are creating the invoices and everything. So we had this option of using MyNode in Shukuru, but we found that it was a little bit tricky for a country like Uganda, where we have problems with one, internet coverage, we have problems with electricity. So, and you do not want your lightning node to always be off and on, because it would affect its life, it will affect its health. So you find that people will be closing your channels and everything. So this wasn't a very good option for us. However much it gives you all the power, you have your node on your Raspberry and everything. So we didn't go for this. So instead, we have another option. You could go for Voltage Cloud. So what Voltage Cloud is, it's an infrastructure where, for what they do, they host for you your lightning node, and then they give you the keys. So what the keys are like your private keys, and this in the lightning world, it's called macarons and TLS certificates. So they host for you the node in the cloud, and then they give you the keys so that you have the full power, and you will be sure that your node will never go offline. So they handle all the problems for you, and for you, you just stay with managing your servers and your invoices and everything. So it was a good option on our side, but it had a problem that it was very, very costly on our side, because even developing, like even if you're just testing out, you're just building on top of the test node, it has to be paid. So they make you pay for that, and it was really, really expensive for us, because you do not know where your node is going to go. They give you the 7-day trial, but then you start paying on even your test node, and it was something that it wasn't feasible for us because first of all, we are just testing the market, we are just testing the clients, and in the end of the day, it didn't look nice for us. But it's a good service. I would recommend anyone that wants to jump in. So we had to use another option. So another option, I'm going to reveal it in the next series, but I'm just trying to give you a small background of how you can run your node. Okay, so you cannot test on voltage. You'll pay even on your test node. It's not very good to develop while you're paying. So the best option you could use, so there is this software called Polar, and I think this is the GitHub repo. Let me say Polar Lightning. So what Polar is a small lightning node. It gives you a small blockchain that you download on your computer, and you can run and test locally without paying. So it has the seg test. I think it's called reg test, where it runs a small lightning node with a small Bitcoin node, and you can spin up the node, you can mine your blocks, you can send invoices, and you can do it locally, which is very, very good, because it allows you to test and build without having to pay for anything. So most of this series, we are going to look and use Polar, and it has a number of backends. It has C Lightning, it has Bitcoin Core, it has LND, and it has most of the backends that we talked about. So when you get time, you go ahead and download Polar. and I'll drop it in the chat. So it's called lightningpolar.com, and you would have to download it. Another thing, Polar works with Docker, and you have to have Docker because the Lightning nodes and the LND and the Bitcoin core are all written under those small images, those Docker images. So you'll have to have Docker installed in your computer. So I think if you're using Windows, it has some tricky stuff to set up, but if you can have WSL, or if you have Linux and Mac, that is easier. Just download Docker and get Docker Composer running. For Windows, you'll have to have it's called WSL, some Linux subsystem. Download Docker, and you can have Polar there. Unless if you do not have Docker, it will not work as you want. So that is Docker, and I think we will try to have some lightweight coding sessions. So we'll use a lot of Node.js. So what Node.js is a small runtime environment for JavaScript, and basically it's JavaScript. It's a JavaScript engine. So we are going to do a lot of this coding in JavaScript, but ideally you can do this in Python, you can do it in any other language. The only thing that we want to do is we are going to make some API calls and to this node. So what we are going to build, we are going to build a Lightning node, we are going to create invoices, we are going to send transactions. Basically, like, we are going to build a small Lightning wallet using Polar, something like how Shukuru does it. It's what we are going to build in this series. So we will use Node.js, like I said, but any language that makes API calls, like Python, like Rust, like anything, you can use that. So basically, we'll have to use VS Code, like any coding editor, and anything that you want. You can use Sublime Text. You can use which one? Vim, the Vim army. You can use Vim, and I'll continue with VS Code. I think it does the job very well. So those are the tools, those are the software, those are the setup that we will be using, and anything that we'll have to add on, I'll let you know later. So I don't think I put the link to VS Code in the chat. Let me drop it there. And yeah, so okay, so what I'm going to be talking about, I'm not going to be inventing things from heaven. I'm going to follow the docs. Everything that I'll be talking about will be coming from these Lightning Network docs, and most of the stuff that I'll be just referencing this, I'll be going back and fro, so it will be all coming from this LND docs, because I think it's a very good documentation, and it does the job very well. So there is this API, and like I said, when you are running a node, you can communicate with it in very many different ways. You can make terminal commands, you can make gRPC commands, you can make REST API calls, something that we are going to use, and it's all in this API. So everything that we'll be discussing, we'll be calling, we'll be integrating, will be coming from this API. So I'll drop it there so that you can also look through it. So yeah, so what LND does, I think it's building a lot of nice things. Maybe just to take you through, this is the main Lightning node. They have terminal. What terminal is, it's a small Lightning terminal that allows you, it's a web interface that allows you to manage your node, to open channels, to close channels, to send invoices. I think it's what terminal is. They also have loop. What loop is a service that allows you to open channels and get something called inbound liquidity. We'll talk about inbound liquidity and outbound liquidity, but what loop helps you, it simplifies the process. Back in the day, for you to get inbound liquidity, you had to call people, you had to connect with people and ask them to open channels with you. So Loop does it in a very nice way, and you can open and close channels and get liquidity without having to call people. So we'll have to look at Pool in future sessions if time tells. Pool is a marketplace where people sell channels, and you go, you bid to open a channel. Someone opens a channel with you, gets some money. Then they have Taproot. What Taproot is my most this is the thing that I'm very excited about with Lightning. Taproot assets. So what Taproot assets is, it's a way they've extended like the Lightning to allow you have on-chain assets. So for example, you can mint a token on Bitcoin. You can mint maybe something of value. So Taproot assets is, you can see here they have these collectibles where you have assets that you can mint, you can give them names, you can basically anything. So I think they're extending the Bitcoin beyond just having money and sats. So I think if time tells, we'll be able to build something off Taproot. I think it's a very nice service. There is Aperture. Aperture is something that is nice. It's a way of officiating and validating software. For example, if I want to join your newsletter, or for example, maybe let me give you an example of Medium. When you want to read an article on Medium that is behind a paywall, you'll have to pay that creator. So when you pay that creator, then they'll open the article to you. But the problem with that, you'll have to create an email, you have to create an account and submit your email and submit your credentials so that you can pay. So what Aperture does is you can pay and verify that you've paid without the need of creating an email. For example, maybe that creator gets that article and hides it behind the paywall for maybe like 2 sats. So what you do, you're using Aperture, you pay those 2 sats, and then you present proof of payment to that user, and then the article will be open to you without necessarily having to sign up and submit your email and get all that stuff. I think Aperture is a very good service. So if also time allows us, it's something that we'll have to look through. So they are building a lot of very, very nice things. There is this Faraday. Faraday is also a nice service. So yeah, I hope this list keeps on growing, because I think Lightning is a good service. Okay, I don't know if you guys have any question before I open up my code editor. Anything? I don't know if someone.
If you have questions, you can also drop them in the chat. Feel free interacting in the chat. Yes, to be great.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to try to show you what Lightning and how it does. So when you download Polar, you'll have something that looks like this. But I cannot start it right now, because if I try to start it, it will not find the Docker images. Like I said, you'll have to have Docker installed. So you see that? It's telling me to have Docker. So what I'll have to do, I'll have to start Docker. And so what it does in the background, it creates these awesome local images, the Lightning images, the Bitcoin images. So we are not going to learn Docker. I don't think it's necessary for you to have Docker knowledge, but you just need it for Polar to start. So I'll go to light mode so that you guys can see. So this is what Polar does. So when you go to create a Lightning network, so my Lightning network, you can give it a name. So I'll call this my network. So you'll have here these boxes. What mine does, yours may not have this window. This is a custom window, so maybe yours will have only these three, I mean these four. So ignore this, and when you get that, so what is this? So this is LND. LND, it's the Bitcoin node. It's LND. This one from Bitcoin Lightning. So this is the real code for Bitcoin. So I mean for Bitcoin Lightning. So you'll have to have LND. It's what your node. So for example, take an example of a wallet like Shukuru, a wallet like Moon, a wallet like Wallet of Satoshi. They have their own instance of LND that they have. So this is what creates the invoices. This is what creates the channels. This is what creates the balances and reads everything. So this is, so currently it's telling me 1. So I'll give it 3 so that I can have 3 LND nodes. So here you can choose a backend. So what a backend is what is going to synchronize to the Bitcoin chain. For example, reading when you create an invoice, maybe when you open a channel, that channel is going to happen on chain. So you have to have some sort of Bitcoin backend that will allow you to create the channel and submit and sign the transaction. So here you can choose one. So I'm going to go with Bitcoin Core, and I'll give this one 0. I only need one backend. So when you go to create network, this is what you have. Okay, so why is it saying not? Okay, so this is what you have. This is what I was talking about. So this is backend. This is the Bitcoin backend, and all of these nodes are all connected to this. This is what will help these nodes open and create channels and everything. So the first node is Alice, there is Bob, and there is Carol. So what happened is oh, someone is coming in. Let me see. Yes. Okay. Beautiful. So our 3 nodes are here. So you can see we have several backend services here. We have Eclair. Anytime that you want, you can come and drop their Eclair there. And I'm going to remove that because I do not have the Docker image from that. So you can drop anything there. You can drop Core Lightning, and yeah. So this is my small Lightning network. This is my small Lightning node that I can play around and develop on. I can connect to Alice and I can develop that. So this is free, and I think it's better for development where you do not have to pay for resources when you're developing, and you can test locally, you can speed up, you can slow down and everything. Okay, so now let me start the node, my Lightning network. So if I go and press start, what will happen is my network has already started. So this is what the Lightning network looks like. So this is Bitcoin Core. It has a number of endpoints. We have the RPC point. We have this is the RPC endpoint is like the Bitcoin Core endpoint where you can call this endpoint and get maybe transaction prices. Maybe you can get block details. Maybe you can get the Genesis block and everything. So the peer-to-peer point, I think what the peer-to-peer point is what communicates within the Bitcoin and everything. ZMQ, some of these things you'll have to ask a C++ guy, but what I think ZMQ does is a messaging library that allows you to communicate in real time and everything. And you can see it has also a terminal. The good thing with Polar, it comes with all these terminals that you can spin up and play around with, and yeah, so okay. And so when you go to the Lightning node, maybe let me go to Alice. It gives you this very nice nice information, the information about the node, the balances, the node public key. It gives you the connect tab, it gives you the GRC endpoints, It also gives you the link to the REST API. So when you click that, it will show you, it will navigate you to the main endpoint, and it gives you this action. So you can even give it funds. For example, if I deposit, let me deposit 500 satoshis to Alice's node. So when I press deposit, you can see we've deposited this money to Alice, and when I go to the info, you can see Alice has this amount of money. So it's very nice. You can also mine. You can set it to automatically mine for you, like how a Bitcoin does. For example, I may want mine to mine every 30 seconds. So if I do that, it will always synchronize like how a Bitcoin node does, and it will auto mine for you. Maybe you can quick mine. You want it to mine before the 30 seconds come in, and you can do that. And it's a very good experience when you're playing around with the GUI. You can also open channels. Maybe let me connect to Bob, and I'm going to give it a capacity of 50k sats. Let me open the channel. When I open the channel, you see it. So when I click on the channel information, it's already opened and it has this money. So it's really nice as a GUI, but I think it's a good learning experience for anyone that wants to understand what the Bitcoin, how the Bitcoin Lightning Network works behind the scenes, what happens when you're using Shukuru, where the money goes, and everything that goes behind the scenes. But this is not what we are going to do. I think the GUI is sexy to a certain point, but when you get to the point of managing nodes in the cloud, you're not going to have this GUI. You're going to be doing a lot of terminal stuff. So I think it's a very good way to learn when you're playing around with the terminal, because Polar is not there in the cloud. So okay, the good thing with this, also the terminal, also the LND node has this, it gives you this terminal that you can go. So for example, let me launch Alice's terminal. Maybe let me increase the font. So okay, my command line is slow. Let me open it from here, so you can press open terminal. Okay, so let me increase the font. Apparently it doesn't want me to clear. Okay, I won't clear. So there are very many command lines that you're going to do, but some of the ones that when you press lncli -help, it will spin up every command that you can run on your Lightning node. For example, there is this get info. It returns the basic information about your Lightning daemon. There is this one like open channels. You can open a channel to a peer. You can close channels. It can show you all the pending channels. We have these payments. This is send payment. This one pays the invoice. There's the one that lists all the invoices, payments that you have. I think this is sending over on chain. I think what the invoices endpoint is under invoices. Yeah, so it's under invoices. So add invoice. There's the lookup invoice. There is the cancel. There is settle. So when let's try some few of these. So I cleared again. Good Lord, I forget to clear. So let's try some of these too. For example, let's look at Alice's node. So we'll go with lncli get info, and this is one of the command that you will always find yourself using a lot of the times, because you would always want to inspect and see what your node is doing. So here it gives you the alias, it gives you the color, it gives you the synchronization. So the moment you say sync to graph, So syncs to chain, it means your Bitcoin D has already synced to the chain, to the blockchain. Sync to the graph, it has showed you that it's synced to the lightning. It gives you that it's on the network that it's playing on, so it's on reg test, so everything like that. There's also the LNCLI get info. It's called get network info. So it gives you everything that you need to know about the network and everything. So you can also open up channels. For example, when you go to a Bob, okay, let's open also Bob. Like I said, you can also open channels and close channels. For example, you remember what we did here and we dragged and dropped here. It's something that you're going to always be doing in the terminal. And let's try to see that let's try to see what we can do. So first of all, you can look at the balances of the node by using the wallet balances. Let's go to it, get wallet balance here, and it will give you the balance, the total balance the node has. So we can use this to open channels. So in order for you to open channel, you'll have to first connect your node to the node that you want to open a channel with. For example, I want to open a channel with Bob. So Bob, but before I open a channel with Bob, I will have to first make sure that Bob is my peer. They have to first shake hands, and when they shake hands, then they can open channels with each other. So let me first look at the peers that I have. So use the list peers command, and when you go to the list peers, you would see that here we have 3 peers. So automatically what Polar does, when you download Polar, it already connects you to all these peers, as they already connect with you as peers. But usually when you start up your lightning node, you will not have any peers with you. You'll have to connect those peers manually. So it's what is happening here. So currently you can see, so what you're looking for is for this node public key. So I see it's F9002. I think when I go here, I can see this is F90. So you can see that I'm already a peer to Bob. So I can now open a channel with him. Okay, so how do I open a channel? Let me go to the help and see the command that allows me to open channels. So when you press LNCLI-H, -H is -help, it will show you all this information. So under the topic of channels, there is this this one that says open channel, and it says open a channel with a node or existing peer. Okay, so I need this one. So the way I can do that, I will say LNCLI open channel, and what I'll do is I think it's something called node key. I'm not sure, but let me try and see if it's what I'm thinking, because you'll have to point to the node public key that you want to open a channel with. So the first command is open channel, and the next one is I think it's called node key -- node key, and you paste the public key of the user, and you'll have to also specify the amount of your channel. So for example, you remember what we did here. For example, when I dragged this from here to this, so it asked me the capacity. So this capacity is what I have to enter here. So the capacity is under channel amount, so it's called amount. Amount, let me say 250 sats. I don't know if I'm getting the commands well, but if we get it wrong, we'll have to look at the documentation. So it's open channel, node key, the private key of the node, and the amount, and press enter. Oh, I got it wrong. So when you get it wrong, it gives you the flags. So you can see it's node public, node key. Oh, it's local amount. So before even I go ahead, you can see the number of flags that you can pass through. You have the node key, the connect value, the local amount. You can also set it to the maximum fee rate. For example, you don't want it to go to exceed a certain amount when it's opening a channel, so that it doesn't fail a lot. There is this push amount whereby you can pay someone in advance of opening a channel. So for the meantime, we are going to go with this one. Okay, so LNCLI open channel. Let's go get the node key, Bob's key, node's public key. So we've got that. It's what local amount? It's node. Oh, did I say node key? I didn't put node key. So open channel -- node key. Put that there, and then local amount, which is 250 KSATs. And so when you do that, you can see it gives you a funding transaction. So this transaction is a transaction on the Bitcoin. So if I was on the Bitcoin, I mean, if I was working on the main Bitcoin chain, I'll be able to copy this transaction and go to the mempool.space, and I'll be able to look at that transaction getting mined in mempool. But right now I'm using regtest, so I can't have any way of looking at that. So if I go back to my GUI, you can see that this channel is here, that we've opened from the terminal, and when I look at its details, you can see it's on status opening. So I can see all this information in the terminal also. For example, if I copy this key, and I say LNCLI, and I say list channels, now I have this channel. Recently, when you don't have any channel, this will be empty, but you can see here I have a channel, and you can see the funding transaction ID is the same as this. So you can also see the status about this channel. For example, you can see if it's pending. I don't know if I can be able to see that. Let me look at the individual. For example, if I say LNCLI pending channels, yeah, it has confirmed. I think it has confirmed on regtest. Yeah, so it has confirmed, but if it was still pending, it would have been showing that everything is there. So I can also look at the information about that channel, LNCLI, using the channel balance. So the channel balance, and you pass in the ID. When you go there, you can see I opened it with 250. I paid some small money for the network fees, which is very small. So now I have this. So on my side, on my local side, I have this amount of money. On the remote, I do not have anything on my remote side. So what does this mean? This means that as Alice can only pay Bob, and Bob cannot pay Alice. So all the money is on Alice's side. You can see all this green. All the green is on Alice's side. So she cannot receive anything from Bob because she doesn't have any inbound liquidity. So everything is on her side. So she will have to find a way of getting some of her fees on the other side of Bob. Maybe Bob opens a channel with her and puts some money into this channel, and the money can move straight up, and it can flow both sides of the channel. So if I go back, and like I said, all of this stuff is covered in the documentation. So maybe if I go and open the LND API docs here, everything is all covered here. Everything is here. I think it's It's a very, very good documentation. So let me go to the LND. So it has this invoice services here. It gives you the Python code. It gives you the JavaScript code. It gives you everything that you want to. Let me go to the lightning. This is the invoices. It gives you the shell command. Where's the open channels? Okay, this is close channel. This is the get info. Everything is here. So this documentation is your friend, and I would really recommend you to always look at that. This is the open channel command, so you can see lncli open a channel to an existing peer. So it also gives you REST in Python and JavaScript. So as we move forward, this is what we are going to keep on using. We reference this API. Hopefully we are going to build a simple lightning wallet that will be using this. We'll always go back to Polar and we'll run all these commands and run these REST API actions in chain. So yeah, it's something that we'll always keep on building upon. So yeah, looks like I will not code today. I think it has been about introduction and everything. Yeah, so like I said, what this does is lightning. What lightning does, it fastens the scalability. You've seen how the transactions have been confirmed in a very, very short time, almost instant. Like the moment you press and the money goes. It's very cheap. You saw how much we paid to open this channel. I think it was even less that you can see. It's a very, very little money. Let me try to see if I have a calculator and see how much you've paid for this. Get this. If I can copy and yeah, so 3,000 sats to open a channel. So yeah, it's something that is very nice, and I think it's very cheap to explore. It also has microtransactions. What they mean by microtransactions, you can see that you can send very little money, as low as 1 sat. Like for the sky is the limit. What may limit you is the wallet provider. Maybe your wallet provider wants to stop at maybe their lowest transaction that they will allow you to spend is maybe 3K, maybe 500 sats. So, but then if that's not the case, you can send as little as 1 sat. For Shukuru, we even have transactions that are as small as 1 sat. So yeah, it's something that is very nice. I don't think you can do it with Bitcoin, the main chain. There's the payment channels. You can establish who you open your channels with. For example, if I wake up in the morning, I don't want to associate with Bob anymore, I can close my channel with Bob. And when I close my channel with Bob, my 2K will come back to me and I'll go ahead and open with another person. So everything is managed by you. And yeah, so basically I think it's the power of lightning in itself that makes everything, makes the development purpose and maybe scales Bitcoin to the moon, as people like to say that. So I don't know if I have any other thing that you guys are adding on. The hands-on session, I think we'll carry on the hands-on session tomorrow. And I think this has been a great, it has been a introduction way that you guys would look at what we are going to do as we progress ahead. So yeah, if you guys have any question, then I'll be glad to take them.
Oh, all right. It is such a great session. The CLI. Yes, anyone with questions, floor is open. You can ask. We will continue with this session tomorrow. So if you have any questions about anything, you can ask. The YouTube link, please by the time tomorrow this video will be uploaded, and we shall provide the YouTube link tomorrow. So, but I also do my best. You can search for a Telegram channel called Decentracode. Yes, Decentracode. The name was the one that was written above on the flyer. Yes, for Telegram, I'm going to post the link in the Decentracode in the Telegram channel as soon as I upload that video. Other than that, any other questions? Thank you for being here. I've enjoyed. I really had.
Yeah, so let me mention something. Thanks, Jovan, for that session. That was a really great breakdown of basically what we're going to cover, hopefully the next couple of days. I don't know how long it took you to actually I would like to know how long did it take you to actually be comfortable with working with Lightning. I know you're an experienced dev, so how long did it take you to be at least more confident in doing Lightning stuff?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm comfortable, but I try. But I think it's a very good question, because as Lightning is being, most of the stuff is experimental. I remember one of the early days when we were developing the idea behind Shukuru, we weren't even thinking about Lightning. We were building on the main Bitcoin chain until we realized that, hey, this is slow and it's very expensive for our users, because one thing, we are building for Africa, and you cannot build for Africa with something that is very expensive. So it pushed us to look for other options. And it's funny that we were in Bitcoin and we did not know anything about Lightning.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
so just to add on, the Shukuru app, you started building it with.
Yo, are you there?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yeah. I think I had a mishap my internet. Yeah. So please go ahead.
Yeah, I was asking about Shukuru. You started the development of Shukuru way back in which year did you guys start building on Bitcoin?
I would say 2 years, 2 to 3 years back, because it was first an experimental thing until we were like, hey, let's push this. Okay. So I think it's around 2 to 3 years back. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So I mean, for me personally, I'm looking forward to learn more. I think you have a lot of content to share, so I'm looking forward to learning from you.
Yeah. Glad that you be here.
Any other remarks? Any other person? If there is no one, we can call it a session.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Oh,
amazing. Yeah, so guys, tomorrow we'll try to do the JavaScript part tomorrow and see how everything works. So keep in touch with that. Thank you.
okay. All right. I think we can call it a session. Let me close.